Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, and today I'm coming to you with a stamping video. Hopefully this isn't too out of bounds for people. These are using supplies that I got scrapbooking, and they've been just sitting around in a closet. So I decided to try to play with them today. So what they are is foam alphabet stamps. Oh my goodness, right? All right, so I still have one pack that has never even been taken apart. They were from the Paper Studio, Stampabilities, and they were two-sided foam stamps. You can see the other side in here. And they did have lines on there to cut apart. So I have this version. Again, never ever even used it. And I have this one. I used a lot of those. It's just a regular uppercase, lowercase. I don't know if they had a name. This one's called Chisel. This one was Alpha Blocks. And like I said, most of these are together here. This one was called Hand Drawn. A little bit quirky. It had, which was nice, it has big letters, small letters, and numbers, which I was quite excited because I didn't recall these having numbers. And I've got Writer's Type, which is skinny. I think I might play with that one first. Big letters, small letters. And I have this one, which is called Block Party. Those are a little bit quirky too. But I even had the, doesn't look like it's got numbers, but it's got punctuation marks. Hashtag. I'm sure when I bought this, this was a pound sign, not a hashtag. Those are the dates on here. 2005. Yeah, 2005. 2005. 20 years old. And then I've got this one that is just boring. And they're pretty plain. And I have this set of blocks that doesn't have a container. And they're kind of quirky looking. So, what I'm thinking of doing today is stamping these letters onto maybe I'll use this one and this one, onto generic papers, and then ripping them apart and making little journal cards. So, hopefully, you have some stamps. If not, you can always just use this idea to stamp other stuff for it. But, yeah, so I'm going to get my stuff ready to go, and we will start stamping. All right, so I have paper for underneath. I've got the one set of blocks out here. I'm going to start with the Writer's Type. And I've got several different kind of papers here that I might want to stamp on. So I've got, these are pages from the Reader's Digest book, so they're nice and yellowed. This is a foreign language book. And then I've got a page from my Greg typing book. I got an index page for my map, and then I've got a whiter page of music. I might want to ink that. I do have some a yellow page, but this is more geared toward my final product. I'm not sure if I'll use that. All right, so these stamps, they were, like I said, they were perforated. You can cut them apart or rip them. I think they can. So I'm not gonna rip them individually. I'm gonna just rip them into strips of blocks for this project, just to make it a little easier to go and do it a little faster. So I think, well, let's start with the book pages. They're a little bit smaller, and we'll do two of them together because I think, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I'm going to have to go over. I could go this way. The words go sideways. Nah, I'm going to go up and down. Okay, so I am going to use my VersaFine for this because it is going onto papers that are not shiny and not glossy. And I think this is going to work just fine for this, for that. So I'm going to go with bigger letters. So let's just, I don't know why that lid's hard to get off. Let's just start with ABC. Isn't that where you start at the beginning? All right, I'm gonna stamp these, and we're just gonna stamp. And I put two sheets out because I noticed that 4 letters would go across a border, but the 5th one has to go on a separate sheet. fun. Now, I do have clean map here. I don't know. The VersaFine doesn't come off as easily, but it seemed to work okay. All right, let's just go in alphabetical order. N-O-P-Q-R. All right, I'm going to leave some room so that I can tear these apart and give them their own little space. Oh yeah, cute. Cute, cute, cute. I like this. What is it called again? Writer's type. So any of you that have been out there in a while doing this stuff, you just might have some foam stamps. Now, they could be wooden stamps. I just thought when I saw these, I had never used them. So I thought, let's try to play with them. Let's try to play. They really work nice, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm gonna get a couple for that side just to finish these 2 sheets up. And well, let's do GHI, and then I'll, cap lid doesn't help. And maybe there's some numbers I can grab. So cute, I love it. Turning out even better than I thought it would, which is always a good thing, right? All right, so I got K and L, and I got some numbers. So let's do that. We're gonna do K and L. Super cute. And I have, let's do 5 and 7. No particular reason, but 6 and 8 were kind of similar, kind of round, so I decided not to do that one. Oh, super, 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 super cute. Super, 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 super cute. All right, so I've got O, or 0, and we got, let's do 4. 2 odd numbers, let's do an even number. No rhyme or reason why I did it, but okay. All right, so my thought is then we're going to take these and rip these into individual pieces. And these can go as accent pieces. So cute. I love it. This is a great font. I wasn't sure if it was going to be too skinny, but I love the tallness of it. Yeah, all right. I'm going to rip the second page. I'll be right back. All right, there we are. So cute, and how quick and easy it is just to make a whole bunch of ephemera. So I'm going to gather these up and put them in a container, and we'll make some other ones. All right, let's try this tiny little writing here, and we're going to go with the same principle. Just going to do one set of these. And we're just going to move them up. Yep, I love it. Now, I probably could have some sort of bucket to put these in to get them cleaned. I know when Carrie the Crafter uses foam stamps a lot for things. Oh, I just thought of something else I have. Sorry, digress. He says something about he's got a bucket of them, or he has a rag that he puts them on. this? All right, let's do this. And we're going to call this one done. So cute. They really do stamp well for 20-year-old stamps, right? But then again, they probably, this is the first time they've ever been used. Okay. All right, so those are going to be fun. I'll rip those again off camera, but let's see how this works. These are fun with the typing with all the letters. I think I'm going to do these. Let's see. But you know what? Let's use the other one. Let's use this one because I can. I think I can. Just do the whole thing. How fun would that be? Let's try that. I think this is going to stay wet enough to be able to stamp. All right, let's give it a shot. I mean, if it doesn't completely work for all these, what have I done? Except just one piece of paper that doesn't work, but I think it should be good. Oh yeah, I love it. The F's really the only one that didn't come out too good, but those are going to be very cool. All right, so I was thinking as I was pounding and pushing is I do have this, and I'm thinking I'm going to get my red VersaFine because I have that mail. Who's Got Mail journal, which has red and blue in it. And I do have some red journals that'll be coming up in a little bit. So I'm thinking red could be fun. Now I do have blue too, but I think because there's blue bars in this, that this would be fun. The question is, do I want to do that? No, I think I'm going to do that. That's how it's going to come out if I don't. No, we're going to go with that. Let's see how that looks. All right. Now, hopefully I clean enough of the black off that it stays red. It looks kind of dark, but that just could be because the white stamp got dyed. Okay, it didn't get cleaned off enough, but that's okay. It's interesting. It kind of almost looks like stone. So, don't change colors in between or stamp it off a little bit more. Would have been my takeaway from that. So, I think it's okay. I like it. It's unique. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and rip these out, and then I will be back and we will make a quick project with this. All right, I am back and I have ripped all these separate letters apart. I did also go through and I found another one, kind of a chunky, looks a little haggard. I decided to do a set of those, and those were from Chiseled. So I did a little set of that. So what we're going to make today, and I did do one already to see how it looked, is going to make these cute little cards. Now I was also thinking I could make one a little bit bigger and make it into a pocket, because these are, I think, 5 by 7. Yeah, these are not 5 by 7. Sorry, 5 by 3. 6 by 4. Goodness me. How big are you? I always forget how big these index cards are. I got them from Dollar Tree. Yeah, 6 by 4, and these are 3 by 5. So you can do either one as a pocket or as a journal card, etc. But we're going to do the same kind of process for it. So we'll start with the small one and go from there. And just going to push these up. And what the other stuff that I pulled together is just to make sort of a neutral background. I've pulled out some of my coffee dyed sheets of paper. I've got some invoices. There's quite a few piles of invoices. And I got, like I said earlier, I pulled the colorful music sheets out, and I pulled some of my small book pages that I have. I put some vintage photo on it to make it a little darker because it's a little lighter. So we can play with those to see how they look. Now I did use, like I said, vintage photo. I am going to glue on the side of the lines because I don't want the lines in the back. I want it to be plain. And I'm just going to ink it first here. I decided to ink it because if the paper didn't go all the way to the end, it would be covered already. Like on this one, it ended up not going to the corner, but you can't tell because I had inked it already. All right, so let us proceed. So I'm just going to take something right off the top here, and let's just start gluing down. Oh, I need my glue book. All right, let's move the glue book out a little bit, and glue is helpful. There we go. Let's glue this down. Now I'm gonna kind of make this kind of like how a master board would be, where I just overlap stuff and put things on, and I don't care if they are necessarily throw a little ink on that. I don't care if they're even with the end because, like I said, I'll end up going to cut the end off, turn it over, and fix it that way. All right, let's use a little coffee dyed. All right, let's put coffee dyed up there. I want this to be pretty eclectic, pretty rough on the inside. Nothing too fancy. Nothing. All right, let's take a little bit of the. Let's take a little bit of the music. All right, let's put the music there. I think I'll put a little bit more music on the other side too. And okay. so this space is open, but you know what? I think I'm just going to end up putting the a letter there and or a number. And I think I want to go with, let's go with one of the tall ones. And it's white, a little bit whiter paper, so I'm just going to throw some ink on there and ink the edge. Get it straight. All right, I had pre-selected a butterfly for this, and I think I'm going to add a little bit of glue to it. It's from my Bees, Birds, Butterflies book, so it gets a little bit. All right, let's throw that on there, and we'll add a little bit of a number to that because we like to be got letters, and we're going to just add a number. This one could be fun. Put that down there. Yeah, cute. Now, one other thing I was thinking of is I do have this sitting there. I was thinking about adding just a little bit of, well, that really didn't come out. Huh, that did not work at all. I know that is working fine. Just too light. All right. It's okay, I can see it a little bit. Okay, so final thing to do is we're going to go ahead and we are going to cut the excess paper off. Now, one thing I was doing while I was putting the stuff on is I was kind of trying to feel where this cardboard was so I didn't put the stuff past the line. I could have cut this first, but I kind of like the reveal. It's kind of like the fun. I think it's fun when you do a masterboard and you cut the pieces down into littler pieces and you get all this fun stuff. Oops. All right, here we go. Cute. I like it. Now, like this example, I just nipped the corners just to round it. But like I said, if I wanted to make it a pocket, we could just put the thumb hole in there. And I just missed a little bit of the paper there. Yeah, cute. Simple, but effective. Like I said, I think I'm gonna make this one a pocket. It's got some purple on there, so I could definitely use it for the purple journal, which would be fun, even though there's not a lot of purple on there. But add a little bit of color to it. Cute. All right, let's see if we can make one more. Let's make a big one. See what we can do with that one. All right, we'll just start with bigger. This page had orange on it, and I have that orange journal coming up too. So there's another reason I thought this would be fun to use. All right, we have that, and all right, I think I'm going to use this one. I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. this because these were left over from the letters that we cut, those tall ones. And they'd be kind of fun to have these on here. So let's put that on there. Put a little vintage photo on there to grunge it up a little bit. Now they definitely don't have to be grungy and neutral. These could, I forgot to. And look at, I'm doing it backwards. All right, this one's gonna have lines on the back. Definitely more of a journal card. That's okay. All right, so we got that, and let's get a little bit of coffee dye on here. All right, just rough the edges up a little bit. All right, put that down there. Okay, there's that. And what else? What else have I not used? Oh, I got the dictionary page here. Okay, put that there, and I have part of this, which was part of the typing, which I think could be kind of fun to put on there. So not only do I have some of these stamped as letters, typing page right there, I also have it on the item. That could be fun. All right, what else haven't we added? Oh, maybe some book page. Let's add some book page. Yep, let's add that. Got a little book page and just a little bit more up there of, I think we'll put, let's put that up there. I think I'm gonna ink the bottom here. It ripped opposite. All right. Now I did pick a bird already. Before, I forgot to mention that earlier. I had picked the butterfly and bird that I wanted to use ahead of time. Everything's over, right? Yeah, everything's over. So that I could not take too long for that. So the bird, bird is more like a seagull, but he could kind of go right there. Maybe put the letter and then a long number there. Okay, let's do that. Once again, I'm gonna glue the bird down. Don't want him flying away. All right, oops. Okay, birdie. All right, you go there. And let's see, I used one of those and I used one of those, so let's use one of these. The W could be fun. I like that. Hint of green in the corner. Yep, let's do that. I think I'm gonna just put a little ink on the edge though. All right. And then we're going to put a nice long number there. And I know there are some in that book. I see them all the time. And I think maybe a little boo-boo tape would be fun to put on here. I did put some on that one. All right, I think a little green boo-boo tape on this one because there's a lot of green. So let's go with that. Well, I definitely enjoyed making these. I'm definitely going to be making some more. I definitely have a lot of numbers. There we go. Put that there. And we're going to cut that apart, and then we'll go back and we'll put a little bit of boo-boo tape on that one. So let us do a cut. Now, if I decide that I want to use this as a journal card, when I put it in wherever it ends up going, I could always put some like coffee dye paper on the back here or something if I wanted to get rid of the lines. Or if it's a pocket, then it doesn't really matter that I had lines on the back. All right, there we go. Upside down. Cute. I think I'm going to round the corners. Hopefully it's not too wet. Oops, you're attached. All right, let's just ink the edge. Yeah, that is cute. I like that. And how simple these letters are, but they definitely add some fun little stamp thing to these. That one, and then, all right, let's get some boo-boo tape for this one. I see a nice orangey looking one right there. These are from, if you haven't heard, it's only a million times out there, I see it all the time, is Margaret from Seven Plaza has this on her Ko-Fi account. And I found if you don't have any of the clear tape that you need to print it on, in my description below in my Amazon, there's a 60 count package of, I think I'll put it this way, 60 count package of the clear papers at a good deal, and it works really well. So if you wanted to, if you haven't gotten any clear sticker paper, check it out. But those are fun. I love it. Those are great. So there is that one with the orange butterfly. You got the orange tape, so that'd be perfect in the orange journal. This one has some red on it with a red flower. That's why I picked the red invoice topper, little number, and this kind of reddish tape on there. And then this one could also go in the orange journal. Hints of green from the typing book. I love it. So much fun. So yeah, stamp letters onto papers. It's going to be definitely fun to play with these. Okay, well, I'm going to call this video done since it's going to take me a while to clean up my mess, and it is about time for dinner out here. So we got to do what we got to do, right? All right, well, that's going to be it for me today. As usual, I appreciate each and every one of you that stops by, and I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye now.